Welcome to TimSold Talks. Join us as we dive into all things real estate, talk about business, food, cars, and much more with industry experts. Dream it, believe it, achieve it. And we're live. Okay. So thank you, my host. I'm your host, Tim Gang, and welcome to the very first episode of TimSold Talks. I'm just a brief background about myself since it's the first episode and not many of you know me. I'm a psychologist turned real estate entrepreneur. I got into the real estate game about 8 years ago as a sales trainer for a real estate investment firm and worked myself up to become one of their top sales agents. Built myself up a team around myself. We purchased a brokerage back in 2021, and now we offer multiple service lines, all servicing the real estate industry with mortgages, legal, as you can see in our background over there. And, since getting into real estate, we sold over more than $500 million since starting. And, that's all within the past span of 8 years. I'm very happy and very blessed to be able to do that. And, as a goal of ours, we want to expand and share knowledge to our audiences and our clients and our friends and anyone out there that just want to learn more about real estate. And, the whole premise of the episodes is to have some drinks, have some food, and talk to some good people and learn about their life experiences and see what this real estate game's all about. So first off, very, very excited to bring on, Wesley, one of my top superstar agents that's been with me for the past year and a half, making six figures in his rookie year, very, very highly potential to become the next superstar for us. And, very excited to come and see what he's got talked about and, hopefully give us some tips on how to become even more successful like him. Thank you very much for coming on today, Wesley.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me. Really honored to be the first guest on the podcast, and we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, no, it's a new format, new platform that we're trying. So everything's gonna go wrong. I'm pretty sure it's gonna go wrong, but that's what this is all about. We're learning, we're improving, and that's how we continuously, to improve on ourselves and make things even better. Thirsty?
Yeah.
Want to try some drinks first?
For sure.
Yeah.
This is what I was here for. That's promised.
Yeah. I got some a cocoa bubble tea from around the corner here. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. So, cheers.
Here.
Don't mind the chewing guard. Lots of bubble, pretty tender, pretty succulent. Okay, last one up. Let's get tell us about yourself, Wes. Where you from? Like I said, you were just new to real estate, but what were you doing before real estate?
Really brand new to real estate. Wasn't really the career path that I thought I would find myself going down when I started. So, I grew up in the Markham area, close, just north of Toronto. Grew up here, went to school in Ontario for kinesiology. Really liked the psychology aspect of it. So grew up playing sports, so you always go into kin when you like sports.
Yeah.
Fell in love with the psychology part of it as well, actually. So then, kind of like did my master's in sports psychology, mental performance. Worked in that for a little bit after graduating, and then pandemic hit, and worked a couple other jobs as well. Golf was a huge part of my life growing up. So I played a lot, played in university, worked pretty much every single job was focused around the sport of golf. So it's weird how you kind of base your life around that. And then, so coming out of school, worked at golf courses, worked at a software company for golf specific software for statistics and analysis, and then club software. And then during the pandemic, felt like it was time to maybe broaden my horizons a bit, got my real estate license, and obviously I met you playing golf as well. So,
you love golf.
Yeah, it's probably a little too much.
Now that you're working so much, probably not much time to play golf anymore.
Yeah,
right? No.
Yeah, golf game's really bad.
How many rounds did you get it in last year?
Still like 40.
40
is
that's not bad at
but
all.
Like down from the peak of university, and it was probably like in the hundreds, right? When you're competing and playing a lot.
Yeah.
I
remember when I first met you guys out of Cedarbrae. We played at the same club there.
Yeah.
My first year getting into golf, and then
getting to played more than us.
Yeah, it was 120 rounds that year.
Yeah, we were university kids on summer vacation, and you were playing more than us somehow and still working. So that's kind of crazy.
Well, that's the beauty of real estate. You got to set your own schedule, right? And
yeah.
Just
part of the reason why it was so attractive to kind of fall into this career as well.
Okay. And for guys that don't know, Wes is one of the top amateurs in Ontario. So
I would not say that. People are going to fact check this.
if you see us pull up at a golf tournament, beware. We'll have the TimSold logo there and represent, because I think last time we cleared up quite a few of the prizes for one of the mortgage tournaments and the company tournaments.
Yeah, for sure.
Watch it for this
those
guy.
are fun days. Yeah.
Okay, so but why real estate? So when you were thinking career change, what interested you? What kind of
like what you were saying was the a lot of the flexibility of the whole thing, being able to set your own schedule, kind of do the things that you need to do with family as well. So I around that time I recently got married, moved into the house, and taking care of, got a new dog, taking care of all that. So this seemed like a really good idea at the time. Saved up enough money, luckily, to start and dive right in. So one of the interesting, not interesting, I guess,
but I got to point out, he didn't use the TimSold team to purchase back then.
No, unfortunately, I was not aware back then. But one of the things, I guess, coming out of school and doing the sports psychology thing, I was doing it, a lot of it on the side. Obviously, it was tough to start your own business and pick up on that. And then ultimately, after a while of doing that on the side, it never really turns into a career. So I didn't want to do that again with the second career that I want to start. So I kind of wanted to jump, be first into it and really commit myself to it. So that was a little bit of a scary part, and it was exciting and it was fun. And hopefully my wife was very understanding, and very supportive. So
because because I don't know if people know, but when you get into real estate, you kind of lose from your steady paychecks at your 9 to 5.
That was the scariest part, is it's not always consistent, right? You don't have a paycheck coming in exactly next week for sure. So again, I was in a very fortunate position where my wife was very supportive of me doing this, and saw that it was a good opportunity for me, and put a lot of faith in me to pursue the career. The first few months are always very scary, because you're not really sure what you're doing, and you're making a lot of mistakes, but you're trying to learn from them and move on. So the first couple of months are stressful, but in the end, we hope that it always pays off, right?
Yeah, tell us about the journey. Is the first couple of months are stressful. Why? And how did you guys talk about a time frame or a deadline for you guys to hit, or certain targets to meet before you kind of really believe that this
luckily,
was
we didn't really have a deadline. I was fortunate enough to already before I started actually working, trying to at least network with some of my friends who were at that age where they're considering buying homes and things like that. But the first couple of months was a lot of saying yes to everything, and a lot of driving around, and with no really guarantee of any kind of payoff at the end of it. So it was a lot of just hoping that something works out in the end. Which was pretty scary, I admit. And, I had quit my job in August, and then started working real estate full time in September. So, those in the real estate game sort of know as well that you're kind of heading into a very slow period as well. So it was a lot of doing a lot of leases, doing a lot of rentals, saying yes to everybody, and trying to fill up my day as much as possible. The worst part was just sitting there and doing nothing. The times when there wasn't anything to do.
And this is during the pandemic too, right?
It was just after, I guess. So a lot of people were finally getting comfortable with going out, but there were still some restrictions on showings and things like that.
Yeah, people were still scared. There wasn't a general kind of
for sure
sense of, hey, we've kind of gone past it now, right?
It was a time where the interest rates were starting to go up as well. So a lot of the confidence had fallen off a bit, and that was actually probably one of the biggest discussions that I had with my wife. Was it doesn't seem like it's as hot as it was during the pandemic, of course, right? So we're trying to figure that out, and still have faith, and just keep working at it, and eventually things.
So where was the point where you realized there was light at the end of the tunnel?
Probably after you do your first actual sale, right? So after that,
tell me about your first sale.
Yeah, you have a little bit of a buffer room, right? You're getting a commission check in a little bit, so you're able to at least budget a little bit better.
Okay.
You don't want to go too crazy because you don't know when the next one's coming again. So the first one's always a big milestone. It was very fortunate, and luckily after that first one, more seemed to fall together and really make that good.
Do you remember your first sale?
Yeah, again, like it was like a network thing. It was like a friend of mine who had known that I was making this career change and was happy to put his faith in me. So I was very really appreciative of that. And then so found him a nice condo to live in, and then from there was a little bit more smooth sailing for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I know, because I kept on seeing the stats afterwards. So after that one sale, I think maybe 3-4 months kind of like learning, you kind of like learning the systems that we had here, learning the kind of the ropes of how to do things. And then once you kind of got, familiar with that, things just started to pick up and steamroll. And I think, if I remember correctly, I think it was like 5 sales in 1 month you did?
Yeah, there was like a mixture of like leases and sales and transactions. So that was really fortunate to happen early in the year, and that kind of at least set me at ease a little bit more for the rest of the year, and I could focus on the clients that I had rather than. I think that part of saying yes to everybody and saying yes to everything was becoming a bit overwhelming at times, because there's no commitment from a lot of people, right?
Yeah, no. So for most folks that don't know, like your typical realtor only do maybe 3 to 4 deals in a whole year, when Wes can pump that out in a month now. So it's no biggie for him, right? So
yeah, very very lucky and very fortunate to be part of the team.
And that's why he made Rookie of the Year last year and top sales performer for us just within I think 12-15 months of being here. So congratulations to that again.
Yeah, a lot of thanks to you.
And so, with that kind of like first bit of success, what do you want to achieve now going forward?
I would like to keep the ball rolling, really. Like, what happened last year was much more than I expected from my first year. So I was extremely happy to have those results, but I just want to keep the momentum going. I know it wasn't like the best in terms of real estate sales for everyone in Toronto. If people are familiar, like Toronto's usually can be very bustling because there's a lot of cycles, right?
Yeah.
So just keeping up that, I think a lot of it is the confidence. There's always the worry when things aren't coming together or like deals are falling apart. That's causing a lot of stress, but at the same time it keeps you busy, and you learn along the way on how to put out some fires as they come up.
So talk about the stress part. Like, I know it's a lot of our listeners or people that don't know about real estate. They think real estate is a pretty glamorous job, right? If you watch like the Selling Sunset, the Property Brothers and everything's just...
Selling Sunset's pretty stressful, I think, for a lot of those people. A lot of tears. Luckily, no tears for me yet. But it's a lot of it is... because you want to obviously you're trying to put your clients first all the time, and then so I always try to remember that if my clients are happy with whatever result they get, then that translates into probably success for me, right? Like whether that means getting the sale, getting the price they want, or perhaps sometimes they're missing out on something. The stressful part is always trying to I always feel like I'm the kind of person that wants answers right away, and I want people to make decisions. Like I make decisions pretty quickly, and I kind of think other people should too, but that's not how everybody is, right? So it's being patient, not only with them just getting back to you about whether they want to put in offers or not, or whether they're going to accept a price or not, but just whether even they want to sell anymore. So a lot of that unknown factor is probably the most stressful part, and I think it's a big learning curve to just be patient with people, and ultimately you're waiting for their decision. You can't rush people into making decisions.
They don't want to be rushed. That I think that's what we teach, right? That there are 4 different types of personalities, or 4 different types of buyers or sellers, and gonna learn how to work with each one in order to help them make the most comfortable decision at their pace and at their kind of like comfort levels, right? So talking about the psychology part that you talked about, sports psychology. Have you been able to utilize any of that in your career?
A lot of it is so a big part of that was the the counseling aspect of it. So like when you're talking with people, like how do you interact with people and trying to, and not all like you said, there's like 4 types of buyers, right? That we kind of teach. And a lot of it is sometimes they're just not your personality, and the person you're talking to doesn't necessarily match up right from the start. A lot of it is just before any talking about, what kind of house they want, what price they're looking for, what kind of budget. It's a lot of just getting to know them a little bit better, how they like to interact with you, and how to talk with you. So I think that counseling aspect of it helped a lot, because I obviously working with athletes at the time, some of them really liked sports psychology and thought it was the best thing ever, and then some others thought it was a bunch of crap, right? And a lot of it is you're not trying to get into an argument with them or convince them of anything. All you're trying to do is just ask people questions and have them reflect. And at the end of the day, if they don't think it's a great fit, then it's not a great fit. But it's just trying to get them to get to the answers themselves. Like clients will come up and ask, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And you try to give them the best overall advice, but ultimately the decision's up to them.
Yeah, trying to make them feel comfortable with that decision is a large part of our counseling job.
Exactly.
Real estate counselors, right?
That helped a lot. It helped that like almost every single one of the jobs I've had was very customer facing, and you deal with people who are upset, who are angry, and you kind of have to not take it personally, which is something that I tried to do, but it's not so easy for me. That's just part of my personality. So just kind of being self-aware of what your personality is, and then how it's going to interact with other people's, I think is really important. And it's always a struggle and it's tough to do, but
no, it's good to make them feel comfortable, and I guess less friction the better, right? Because I know, once you've only been in a year, you've probably dealt with quite a few different personality types on the opposing side, right? With the different types of agents. Yeah. Can you talk some about that, like some of the funny ones that you've
I mean, like some agents just get mad at you for stuff. It's like, it's not. I'm not the one making the decisions, and I don't think people can get mad at what, like, if you're not coming in at a certain price that they want you to come in at. Well, there's a lot of back and forth that's going to happen. The negotiating part is kind of an art, and there's different ways you have to negotiate with different people that I'm still learning a lot of, and trying to figure that out. I know from personally, I try to make it fair and like everybody's happy and things like that. And when you come up against another agent who's not like that and who's just really trying to squeeze you for every single dollar or condition, then that makes it hard for me. And I really have to make an effort to toughen up a little bit and really represent my client, right? And say, we're going to come to a fair deal. We're not going to get taken advantage of at the same time.
What I also kind of notice, and not in a long period of time in career, doing negotiations, but you're noticing a trend in like the old school and the new school of negotiations now, right? Whereas the old school is more kind of like dominant. I gotta win. My client's gotta have the best deal. You gotta lose. You guys gotta just be thankful that we're giving you an offer type of deal situation.
Some like old sales approaches, and I think it's like a very symptom of what books they have read about sales when they're growing up and being tough. And it's not to say that they don't work. It's just different approaches work with different people, and ultimately if you're not willing to be malleable in your approach when you're talking with people, I think you miss out on a lot of opportunities to have actually made a deal happen.
And I think you represent some of the new breed of agents out there, the new working styles. Like, let's be more collaborative. Like, we're going to be working in this long haul together, right? So, chances are we're going to be facing each other more often than not. Since we do so much, you're going to be coming to our listings. We're bringing buyers to yours. The collaborative approach, you help me here, I help you there next time. It's a much more fruitful partnership in the long term versus just like, here, this is one deal and that's it. I'm going to get this done, and it's my way or the highway kind of type of situation, right? So I think as the newer kind of more educated agents come on board, come in the field and bring up the whole professionalism of the industry, it's going to give whole new dynamics to the negotiations out there. So
still a lot to learn. Still a lot to experience for sure. I'm sure I'll meet another agent in the next week who will throw another curveball at me. I'm not going to be sure what to do.
Well, I've had guys trying to threaten to record my phone call and report me and sue me, and everything's just kind of like
it's not. It doesn't make for a great work.
It's like, sure. After you telling me off like that, I'm going to bring in about $100,000 over.
That makes me really want to help you out.
Exactly. Okay, so what are some of the biggest challenges you're facing today now? Since you're not a rookie anymore, you're more seasoned and more experienced, and you're doing more deals than your average agent. What are some of the challenges you're facing right now?
I think the biggest challenge is always. One of them's the consistent is always going to be the market, right? Like what the market's dictating versus what sellers and buyers' expectations are. I think there's always going to be a gap for one of the two. And it's kind of about managing those expectations. You'll get listings where people want way over the market value at a time when it's just not going to be possible, and we always give it our best shot. But at the end of the day, it sort of hurts them if it's staying on the market for a long
Unrealistic,
time.
yeah.
And if it's unrealistic, then it's wasting their time and their efforts as well. So I think a lot of it is managing people's expectations, but in a way that doesn't seem like you're just trying to make a sale happen or like trying to lowball them or anything like that. So it's a lot of it is keeping them informed and constant communication of what's happening around them. Having the market kind of decide the price. Like, yes, there's little adjustments we can make, or how we're advertising and everything like that, and just having them comfortable with the decision on how they're marketing their property or the offer that they're putting in for their property.
So talk about the last 8 months till like now. I guess we're Jan 2024 now, our last day of that. So what's happened in the last few months?
I guess that right around that time, in early spring last year, we'll just take it till a year ago. The spring last year was surprisingly very, very busy still. A lot of transactions were happening. There were bidding wars still. So, people were throwing out some crazy prices for certain homes, and then but it wasn't kind of at what it was like at the peak either, where from what I've heard from other agents who were working at that time, was like every home was going for higher. So there were still deals to be had. And then kind of throughout the summer, the interest was waning down a little bit as well. And then I think we had one of the slowest winters for transactions as well. So that's kind of going to the new year. And then right after the new year, as soon as January 1st hit, we started seeing a couple more showings at our listings, a lot more interest coming out, 20 people coming out to open houses on the weekend. So it shows that people are still interested, and they're always waiting and looking for the good deal. It's just whether we're going to get the 30, 40 offers on every single house that's listed, maybe not. But I from what I hear, like there's still some. There was one that got 85. Just this past weekend.
I know,
which is kind of silly and kind of crazy, but it's always going to be in a cycle, and you just kind of work with what you get. Really.
No, it's crazy. You talk about what's happening in the market. It's like a lot of the herd mentality, right? As people were waiting, and all of a sudden, once you see a silver lining, and you think that the interest rates are maybe going to pause or not go up anymore, and maybe take a reverse and nosedive, that's when the majority of people that have been waiting on signs all come back out, and it's like a herd effect.
It's crazy what like just word of mouth does. Like I I see it all the time where my friend of a friend of a friend said something, and we think that this is going to happen, and then it kind of bleeds around, and you hear it from somebody else too. So it's a lot of word of mouth and a lot of guesswork, unfortunately. But you always say we can't predict what's going to happen in terms of interest rates or what the market's going to look like 3 months down the road even. So
it's one of the favorite questions we get asked. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think will happen to interest rates? Oh, I wish I knew, man. I wish I had a crystal ball, right?
Yeah, exactly. If I knew that, I don't think I'd be doing real estate. I'd be doing something else.
But a lot of times, like, talking about, a friend of a friend of a friend heard something, and it all kind of plays down to that self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, I think a lot of the clients convince themselves because they heard someone else say it, and everyone else hearing it. And it's again, goes back to the crowd effect, where everyone just all of a sudden makes a big rush, and that's the self-fulfilling prophecy, where they're all going to create this spring bidding war again.
Because I'll just hear someone say, like, "Oh, I heard the market's going to crash in the summer," and then it's like, "Oh, who did you hear that from?" And then it's just like, "Oh, my friend said it." So it's like, I don't know how much faith, I don't know how much I trust your friend. It's certainly possible.
Do they study every day? Do they see
it's certainly
the stats?
possible, and I would never rule it out. But a lot of people just have that mentality of, "Oh, I just heard it from somebody, and it must be true." And I urge a lot of people to be a little bit more critical of what they hear.
No, it's rightly so, but I guess that's word of mouth advertising.
Right. It gets me in trouble with my parents a lot. I always accuse them of not really looking into the things they're telling me.
Better fact check that, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, this past year, amazing success, obviously. And what are some of the other highlights that you've been able to accomplish?
I mean, accomplish is a different word, but I was finally able to take some vacations.
Oh, yeah.
So that was
Where'd you
really
go?
good. Just went to Asia, went to Japan and Hong
nice.
Kong for about a month.
Yeah.
When the market was kind of slow, so which was kind of worked out. It's beautiful there. We're going back again next year. We can't wait.
Yeah.
Was kind of interested in what real estate's like in Asia as well. So I was like kind of checking out some of the real estate offices in Hong Kong, and the prices there were unbelievably high.
Give me an example.
I think probably close to double what something in Toronto would be. So it would be
Probably
something like
triple,
a
I
500 to 600 square foot apartment for whatever the exchange rate is would be like 1.2 million sometimes. And they have, from what I've heard, they've have like 75-year mortgages that'll just never pay off. And so owning real estate in certain hubs like that is different. But then you get the reverse. When we went to Japan, they were giving away plots of land for free, homes for free
outside the Tokyo region?
Outside of the major areas, of course. But it was like out in some areas they would give if you were a Japanese citizen, I guess they would give you a home for, I think it was like $1 or like $10, and it obviously need some heavy renovations, but they're trying to keep some of those towns and villages populated still. Okay.
So they're like exiting the small villages.
So that would have to be my guess. It was really cool watching some of the videos on it, and I mean going through some of these small villages myself is like really quiet and quaint, but it was really, really interesting and really good. It was like a movie. It would be like 2 subway cars going through this tiny little village. There's mountains on both sides. Just looks like there's maybe like 50 people living in there.
Well, you become the mayor of the town there, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You know everybody. You really do know everybody.
Okay, nice. So you said, some traveling time and anything else, or you planning another trip in this coming year?
Well, we're hoping to get some more trips going. That's really want to see the world before I'm at that see the world phase of my life before really settling down and doing the kids thing and doing the family thing. Would really like to travel a little bit before that.
Yeah, I know now's the best time to do it. So make a few more deals and that's all paid off.
That's the other part too. I'm working.
Yeah. I noticed did you drive the Tesla before you got into real estate?
Yeah, well, it was kind of not in preparation for it, but it sort of just made sense, knowing that I'd be driving everywhere. I think Teslas are a lot more affordable than a lot of people realize if you're kind of taking into account the gas savings and things like that. And obviously working in real estate, you're self-employed, there's little tax breaks. I don't know, my accountant was kind of telling me about it, so it kind of worked out that way. And then we got it right before the gas prices shot up like crazy, and it was like $2 a liter or whatever. And I was like, this is the best decision ever, because I had to drive all around the GTA all the time. Just the calculation just made so much sense, and it's great.
And you enjoy it?
I enjoy it. It's fun.
Was your first electric vehicle?
So like electric vehicles overall, like I think are eventually everyone's going to have one. I think we just need some infrastructure for it, which I know a lot of condos downtown are starting to incorporate charging into their parking and
charging stations.
Like retrofitting older buildings with chargers as well. Eventually everybody's going to have one. Right now I think it's still tough for it to be your only vehicle. Because in Toronto we get cold winters and the mileage. I went to zero on more than one occasion. Right outside my home. And it would still run on zero, luckily, so I was able to pull in. But the cold weather sometimes messes with the
drainage.
It really drains it sometimes. It was really
Tell me, I've never been to zero. So what happens when
everything starts shutting off?
And then
the screen starts shutting off, your air con starts shutting off. It's literally just like I wasn't even charging my phone. There's like a phone charger. I wasn't charging my phone. It was very scary. Windows were fogging up because I turned off the heat and everything like
that.
Like
trying to squeeze every last inch.
As soon as I pulled into my neighborhood, I relaxed. I unclenched. So at least I can push this back. Maybe I don't know, but that was really scary. It was like I think it was like minus 20 that day or something. And it said there were like 50 kilometers left, but it really was probably like 10. So
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
that doesn't make sense. It was, one of the more anxiety.
Yeah, range anxiety is a real
very,
thing,
very
right?
Because again,
Yeah.
because it's like infrastructure's not there, it's not that popular. Like I know I can go to any corner and pull into a gas station if I needed to, but you can't always charge your car. Yeah.
Oh no, so I think it was 2 weekends ago when it was like really cold. I'd driven my son to a basketball tournament, went out east, came back, went about first afternoon game and came back, and we're down to like maybe 15%. We had to go meet my in-laws for dinner, and we were around the Fairview Mall area. I was like, okay, great. So at least I can drop them off at the restaurant. I'll go charge and come back. When I got to the Fairview Mall charging Tesla station, there was a lineup of cars
it's full
coming out of there. It was insane. Like I'd never seen that before.
Yeah.
Just when bad weather hits and everyone's all rushing for a charge, especially at a big, charging station like Fairview there, right?
Like there's quite a few charging stations, but there's still not enough. I think like planning a long road trip can be really tough with it. Like I know there's apps and stuff for that, but like I think it would be I would just be anxious the whole way.
No, like just going because you're just like constantly checking, okay, am I draining, like battery enough, or am I going to turn off all my
trying
features?
to change the way you drive so you're not like accelerating and things like that. So
but at this charging station, people get aggressive too. Like my first time seeing a fight happen, like I was waiting there for the charger, right? Because like there's an orderly line kind of like forming. I was maybe like 4 or 5 cars out waiting for that to happen. And waiting for my turn. As people pull in, pull out. I got into one gentleman pulled out, so it was my turn. I was at the front of the line. I went in, backed in the car, started fiddling around trying to get the charger to work. It happens to be a dud, so I don't know. I was trying to reset everything, and maybe it was too cold, so my charger wasn't working. But as maybe 3 cars down from me, one car just pulled out, and then this guy just came in and just like snuck past everyone and backed in, and all of a sudden, he got out and he started charging, and then like the people that were waiting on the line, all of them got out of their cars. Like it was like a mob consenting on this guy. They were like rocking his car, like knocking him down, like whoa. And then the cops showed up. Like, someone must have called the cops, right? Because like they were there within 2 minutes. Once I saw the cops come, I was like, all right, I'm out. I'm not gonna bother charging.
That's an interesting 911 call. Also.
It's like someone stole my charging station.
Someone stole my spot.
But but Tesla's great. Like I think their charging networks, one of the vast first ones out there for the infrastructure,
one of the biggest, right? Yeah. So if anybody's got to figure that out, hopefully it's them.
Hoping to them, they're going to be the new Petro or Esso or Shell of the future going forward, right? So
it'd be interesting to see what happens for sure. Yeah.
Have you seen the new Cybertruck?
No, I saw you posted the. It's been around Toronto. I think some of my friends saw one like pull into Yorkdale or something like that. But no, I haven't seen it in real life yet. I think it would be pretty trippy because it's looks like a 90s video game sort of car, right? Like it's just a box
designed from like Minecraft or something.
Yeah, it's like very
angular,
straight angles. I wonder how people are liking it. I think obviously a lot of people were. Like the wait was bad, right? Because it said it would be ready earlier. So I wonder how people are actually liking a car like that. You always see all of like the hype videos on YouTube. So they see the one pulling the Porsche and stuff. And well,
I think they debunked that one too.
Did they?
Yeah,
they were. I don't know about that.
I mean, obviously Elon posted it, and Elon Musk posted it on his platform, right?
Yeah.
And faster than a Line 11.
Yeah.
Or the Cybertruck's towing a Line 11 is faster than a Line 11. But then there were some scientists came out and kind of debunked it. I think we'll have to find the video to show that. It's a pretty good kind of gimmick, but
it seemed it was kind of crazy. It was like, well, we'll see. I don't know. I don't really expect a lot of these things. So.
No, but it was crazy. Once we posted that our Instagram video, that's our highest viewed video. Like I think it caused a lot of controversy because either you hate it or you love it. And
for sure, that's what gets clicks on the internet these days, right? Is like the controversial stuff, not the
actual factual stuff. You want people to hate and get some reactions now, right?
More people.
No, but Elon's doing some great stuff. And have you heard about his Neurolink too?
I did, yeah. I was actually very interested. Well, because of like because of like the psych background thing, sort of. It was like kind of interesting because I mean, and like people have been doing like the neuroscience for that for a while. Like, how do you help people who are paralyzed or whatever start or use robots and move? And like people have been able to do that. But for him to like kind of think of mass producing it is it's cool, but it's kind of scary also. Like I don't know that I don't know that I would do it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It sounds very scary, and it's very Matrix-like, where you can just like plug a chip into your head and upload some new files, and
now you know hacking. Kung fu. Or if somebody hacks it, is it possible to hack it? Like I don't know. Like it seems it's so early that like I don't know what the results would be. There's like human trial, right? Like somebody
the first one this week. Yeah.
We'll see how.
I mean, first they're obviously gonna try and use medical cases, right? Like quadriplegic, or even people that don't have vision, will be able to see for the first time, because they're just patching up the neural pathways with that. But now there's a conversation about AI too, right? So if you have AI paired with these neurochunks, are you making like superhumans? And, enhanced human capabilities. It was interesting, if you listen to his podcast with Joe Rogan too, he talked about how, you symbiosis, right? You half human, half mechanical, half robot.
I think it causes a lot of things that we don't really like consider, like in terms of you're able to just Google stuff by thinking about it, or use your phone by thinking about it. There's like, can you ever write a test anymore? Can you ever compete in anything that's like, or like a chess match, or can you play poker or anything like that anymore if you have that implanted in you? Because then you're just accessing a supercomputer.
Yeah, who's got the fastest computer processors. Right?
I feel like a lot of fun in actually doing human being things is going to be taken out. It's not going to be quite as fun anymore. It's a totally different experience.
Yeah, it's just going to be who's got the fastest processor, and who's going to be accessing the biggest
who's got
data.
the best Wi-Fi, or the best 3G or the 5G.
Yeah, because we're still human, right? So we want to be able to experience
I want to be able to play games.
Yeah.
Like, imagine just playing a game of chess with your friend, and like you're just both using this supercomputer that's implanted in your head. I feel like it's not quite the same thing anymore.
I think we kind of went off topic with the Tesla there. We're supposed to be talking about real estate, so going back to that, want to thank you very much for your time and coming up and sharing your real estate experiences. But before we go, we just kind of want to ask you some funny questions, just so that our followers can your clients can get to know you a bit. But what type of food would you eat for 1 year if that was the only food you could eat?
Sushi.
And that's how you go back to Japan.
I'm going back to Japan again. I could easily do that every day.
Every day. Is particular type?
No, like pretty much. I like almost every kind of sushi there is everywhere I go. Yeah.
Even the vegetarian ones, or the vegan ones, or the fake ones, or
those are okay. I prefer
the real fish. Because I've tried some of those the vegan ones where they made it out of bean curd, but they look exactly like.
Okay, no, I've never had that. I thought you just meant like a cucumber roll or something.
Oh no, those.
Okay, no, but I've never actually had it's like Beyond Meat sushi.
Beyond Meat sushi, or Beyond Fish sushi, or something like that. It's it's pretty crazy how artistic.
I'm interested to try that though. I've heard it's good. I've heard like some of the new
textures were kind of okay,
really
but you obviously don't get no fish taste. But you just dip it in soy sauce and wasabi. You'll get the same flavor. All right. And what about for you? When building your future, what's your dream home gonna be like?
My dream home. I'm gonna have to consult my wife on that one. I'm very easygoing. It's like the home that I'm living with now, I'm very happy with. Obviously, like you can always get a little bit bigger, or like a detached home, and upgrade the finishes and do the basement and things like that. So ultimately, like your home is just a place where I can entertain guests, have family, friends over. I love having people over at my place. Just a place to create memories, right? So anything that's conducive to that, I'm more than okay with.
Got it. So it's anywhere you can, whatever the wife says. That's the dream home. Happy wife, happy life.
Exactly. Maybe put a golf simulator in it too. That's
of course. Okay, so that wraps up our very first episode of the podcast. Thank you very much for listening.
Amazing.
We're going to try and bring on some more guests, more interesting folks to talk
hopefully more interesting than me.
No. Thanks for being our guinea pig. So for our friends and family that are listening, where can they find you?
My Instagram handle is Wesley Kwok Homes.
Wesley Kwok Homes,
okay. Check me out, and
very easy to find out on IG,
on
Facebook,
Instagram. That's really the only thing I'm on. Put my listings up there. Have some success stories, and check me out there.
Yeah, he's got a pretty cute dog, so go check out.
Yeah, my dog's there too.
I think he's got a profile page
he is
too, right?
In my profile pic. Yeah. He has got his own Instagram too, but
probably more popular than you, man.
He's cuter than me.
All right. Thank you for listening. Thank you to our listeners. Thank you for joining us today in our first ever TimSold Talks podcast episode. One of our favorite sayings here at the TimSold firm is dream it, believe it, and go achieve it. It's a beautiful day to sell houses, everybody. All right. We'll see you later. Bye. Hi, I'm Tim Kern, and I proudly lead the TimSold team. We're voted as one of the top 3 brokerages in Markham, and we will sell your house fast and for top dollar with the least amount of hassle, or we guarantee to buy it. Call us today and start packing.